I did fall like also very much into the hip hop scene. At that time, I had two amazing producers and writers, Shaheem Reed and Ramon Dukes, and these guys just like put me under their wing and just like took me everywhere. It was like everywhere. So every major like hip hop album release at that time, like I was there filming it. I was in the front row filming it. I was at listening parties for Kanye West. I mean, I just did musically, crazy. Like when I think about stuff, just like it was just amazing experiences. The biggest one probably being the 50 Cent travel that we did when he was touring in Africa. So we literally hopped on the tour with them. It was me, our producer Joseph, our production management, my brother Phoenix, and it was just the three of us. And we basically pitched it to 50's team as like, hey, we're going to come and cover the music and the concert and the shows and stuff, but we also really want to get you involved in some of the social and historical pieces of South Africa. Like we want to take you to the Apartheid Museum. We want to take you to Mandela's house. We want you to meet some of the family of his and let them introduce you to South Africa, and talk about some of these things in these sort of like 5-part mini documentary series that we were going to build out of it, of the shows and of our experiences driving around and taking 50 and Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks and the G Unit guys around South Africa. So, you know, yeah, it's wild. You're like, what? Yeah. So this is what we're doing. So, you know, you're like packing up cameras to go, you know, on tour basically with 50 Cent. And at this time he had just gotten, I think, like there was some, like someone jumped on stage and robbed his chain in Angola. So we literally caught up with them like right after that. So everybody was talking about what was going on with 50 Cent in Africa. And then all of a sudden we're like there. And it's a very tight-knit crew that he's brought, tightened in like maybe like 30 people. That includes like security, management, whatever. So they were just flying around private. So now I'm like not only experiencing this whole thing, but I'm also just on a private jet, like flopping around like Africa with 50 Cent, like just drinking whiskey. And I don't know, it was all very surreal stuff. But, you know, being there was incredible because that was my first time in South Africa. I've been back and have filmed documentaries there like 3 times now. I absolutely love South Africa. It's like one of the most incredible places you could ever visit or go to. And I got sort of the most insane story ever because we are taking 50 around to all these spots. We had a day where we were just like really hitting like the big ones. We went to the Apartheid Museum. We went to Mandela's original house where he was born. And then on the way back, we had our tour guide was one of Nelson Mandela's nephews. And he was bringing us around while we were filming this tour. Now, I'm the only camera guy. Like, it's me, like with a DVX 100B or whatever at that time. So I'm loading and keeping track of my own tapes, like
pile of tape.
Yeah, boxes of tapes, duct tape, like gaff taping them, labeling, like having to put them in like a treasure, like because you don't, you know, when these are gone, there's no like,
backing them up.
I haven't digitized them to anything. They're not on a hard drive. Like I just have a tape. Like at that time, I was nervous to even put tapes like through the X-ray machines at airports because I was like, this is gonna buck out my tapes. It turns out that's not the case. So here I am running around like Africa. It's like you're nonstop. You're like, I'm just constantly just trying to, you always have to be sharp, you know, because you're by yourself. You know, Joseph and Phoenix are doing everything that they got to do to keep us safe. And like, I'm coming out of airports where they know 50 Cent is going to be there. And I'm walking out of airport and there's like literally like 500 people outside this airport. And, you know, a South African, you know, airport or in Tanzania, the Tanzanian airport, excuse me, is not exactly like an LGA or JFK. It's like you kind of just walk out the doors. There's not a lot of, you know, security. And so we're just
right into the world.
Was right into the world. One guy with a camera and then 500, you know, just ecstatic, you know, South African people, Tanzanian people just wanting to like see him and touch him and yell for him. And I'm just like backing up at the camera like this. And I'm lost. Like now 50's been pulled into the car with security and Nick, the camera guy, is just like, I'm just like, where do I go now, dude? And all of a sudden, like out of like an angel from above, like my boy Phoenix, the production management, just like Nico, like screaming, like he's just like this super big dude, like ex-military, like he's like a beast, and he's just like Nico. I hear him and I'm like, holy shit, and I'm just like booking now to get to him to get in the car. And so now we're just caravanning, and it's constantly caravanning of just like 10, 15, 20 cars, like caravanning constantly. I also learned the hard way to like never stick a camera out of a window in certain parts of the world because they could think that it's a gun. So I learned that the hard way because our car kind of got like side swiped to like sort of like, you know, as a defense mechanism.
Wow.
And the driver's like, put your camera down. I was like, whoop. And he was like, and the guy who kind of like pushed us off the road pulls up next to us and he goes, sorry. He's like, he basically motioned to me like, sorry, I thought you had a gun. Wow. And I was like, oh, I like lifted it up again. I'm like, camera. I go like this. He's like, and I'm like, dude, you almost threw us off the road.
Jesus.
Like, what do you mean? Yeah. It was just like, yeah, no problem. Sorry, man. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So, you know, just moments like that. But the 50 thing, so like I was saying, we were caravanning around. And on the end of this day, it's just been a long day. We're tired. And they're just like, hey, we're going to do one more stop. We're stopping at Mudabi's house. So we hear this, and it's the tribal, I don't want to be mistaken, but it's like his family name, Nelson Mandela's family name or tribal name, I guess would be the translation. And we didn't pick up on that. We just thought we were going to the gentleman who was guiding us around all day. We were going back to his house. Mm-hmm. Well, we were going back to his house, but, you know, on our way in, they were like, hey, listen, let's just make this light. It's the last thing of the day. Like, we'll just take Nick in. So Joseph and Phoenix were like, yeah, sure. Like, all right, fine. Just take Nick in. Like, Joseph's giving me directions, like get some stand-ups, make him like do a couple intros outside the house so we can have some stuff to like sort of play to the whole day. And so I'm going in, I'm getting him to do some host reads. I'm just having him like read stuff back to camera to me. Just give us like all the bits that we need, the bites, like, you know, all the drops that we need to promote it later on, just stuff like that.
And this is 50 Cent you're directing?
Me and 50, yeah.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, someone's like, hey, come in to the house. So 50 stays back. He's talking to someone. I walk into the house. I take about like 100 steps in, and the guy's like, oh yeah, right there in the living room. And I kind of take this right-hand turn, and camera's down on my side. And there's like this old dude with like a newspaper like up here, like by his face. Like I can't see who it is. And then as I like turn and he hears me enter the room, he puts the newspaper down. And I look and I'm like, I think that's Nelson Mandela, bro. I'm stuck in time, okay? Because this is like, you know, it's like Jesus, Mandela. Like, there's not a lot of like public figures that you can like. This guy is, you know, this is Nelson Mandela, man. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I'm almost positive I'm looking at him. My cameras, I'm frozen. I'm literally frozen. I'm not even kidding. Until someone like came he tapped me. The guy came back down the hall, and then I hear 50 coming down. He taps me, and he goes like, oh, please no, go greet him. So I walk in the living room and I shake Nelson Mandela's hand, and I'm like, it's such an honor to meet you, sir. And at this time he was, you know, a little bit older, so he's, you know, saying yes and you know, giving me the head nod. And then it clicks in my head because I have a camera in my hand. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get this. Like, this is gonna happen right now. And if I'm not if I'm not up and ready, like, so now you're scrambling to think like,
hit the record button.
Well, hit the record button, right? Hit the record button. You know, how full is my DV tape? Like, just you have my battery. Like, so I'm now clicked over, and I'm in cameraman mode, and I get it. I get 50 coming in, the team that came in with him, like introducing themselves, shaking his hand, meeting him. I have this like amazing shot of them all just like taking photos. I think everyone was kind of just like, what just happened? Now, unbeknownst to me, the guys outside are starting to put together the pieces of what's happening. They're pissed because they're like, we just missed an opportunity to go inside and meet Nelson Mandela because we didn't know what was happening, really. Like, so, you know, I come out with just this grin from like here to here, and they're just like locked up. Like, so my producer Joseph got me this shirt down in South Africa as like a thank you, but also as a like, I'll never forgive you for going in. And, you know, and again, we just didn't know what was happening. And I think that's so great about what we do is so many times you go in and you don't know what's going to happen.
Did anyone, like, did 50 know? Like, nobody
No,
knew.
I don't even think 50 picked up on it. I'm not even sure. Maybe after the fact, he put two and two together. I mean, I put it together as soon as I saw him. I was like, oh my God, what just happened?
So like,
when 50 met him, he didn't know it was Nelson Mandela, or he like kind of maybe?
Yeah, no, I think he did. I think, yeah, no, of course. I think he knows who Nelson Mandela is.
It's crazy to think that, like, because the three of you were producing it.
The three of us were running around for a week in three different, you know, between Johannesburg and Tanzania.
But to produce your way into a house that you don't even know what it is,
right,
is crazy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.